stream. Otherwise, it's gonna be 18-hour stream. Okay, so last time we already talked about how to graph a line. How do you graph y equal to 2? It's a horizontal line at y equal to 2. Does that make sense? How do I graph the vertical line? Let's say x equal to 3. That would be a vertical line at x equal to 3. But x equal to 3, what is the slope of that function? Undefined. Good. So now at least some people can tell me undefined. If something you get vertical line, it's undefined slope. Also, at the same time, it's not a function. Right? Do you guys start recalling all the information from Algebra 1? So now we're going to do a little bit more intensive. We're going to make sure that you know how to graph proper things, also with the restrictions. And I'm going to show you how to do it on Desmos as well. So I'm going to teach you how to graph multiple lines within one graph. Okay, multiple lines in one graph. So we're going to use something called function notation. In this case, I'm going to say f of x is equal to this. It's like a big brace, okay? And I'm going to introduce you that you have to graph all three things. So y is equal to -3 over 2x plus 2 when x is greater than 2. Okay, so I leave some space here. This is actually called a restriction. I only graph x is greater than 2. Second one, I'm going to use different color to show you this. So I'm going to graph y is equal to -4 when x is between 2 and -2. And the other one is going to be y, let me use different color. Let me use blue. So it's going to be y minus 2 is equal to 3 over 4 x plus 2, and when x is less than -2. Okay, so let's start with this. Okay, so first of all, we're going to start how to graphing. How many of you guys have seen piecewise function before? Raise your hand. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so okay. Have you graphed this before? No, nobody ever graphed it? Okay, good. So we're gonna finish graphing here. So I'm gonna start by graphing a line. So I'm gonna use black here. Start by, I'm gonna organize by restriction. The restriction is gonna go only graph x greater than 2. So I'm gonna use like a color shading tools here to help me. It's going from 2 to infinity, so it's going from here to here. If you have color pen, it will help you like start for us organize things. So from here on, it's gonna be black, and from here on is red, and from here on is blue. So I'm gonna graph each function based on this particular restriction. Now, what is this called? This is called a domain restriction. So all this and all this are called domain restriction. Okay, so all this are called domain restriction. Domain restriction. So we're gonna start with the first line. We're gonna say y equal to negative 3 over 2x plus 2. How do I graph this line? Where do I start? Not 2, but 0, 2. Yeah, it's going to be a coordinate is 0, 2, which is your y-intercept. Is that okay? So 0, 2, it's going to be here. But the slope is going to be what? So negative 3 over 2. Now remember, the negative sign could be on the top or could be on the bottom. Yes. Of course. It could be on the top or could be on the bottom. Depends. So it can be down 3, right 2. Or it could be 3 over negative 2. It could be, the negative sign could be up or down because they're both means negative. So because I want to see both, this is up 3 and left 2. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to do down 3, right 2. So down 3, right 2. So I'm going to be this point here, this point here, and this point here, and this point here. Is that okay? But only graph according to restriction. What a restriction says? X greater than 2. Only x greater than 2. That means I cannot graph this part. Because this part is in the red restriction. Do you see that? So here is going to be a black. Now this is going to be an open circle. So I'm going to draw an open circle here. And I'm going to draw from here. Now usually I'll draw a straight line all the way across. But right now I'm going to only graph x greater than 2. Is that okay? Is this difficult? No? Bless you. Now I'm going to go to the red graph. The red graph is fairly easy. It just said negative 4 is a horizontal line and the restrictions between negative 2 to 2. So at negative 4, horizontal line from here to here. Is this okay? Last one. How do I graph this again? Do you guys remember how to graph that one? The blue one?
You find the point.
Where is the point, Landon?
Negative 2, 2. Well, negative 2, negative 2.
Negative 2, positive 2.
No.
Because technically there's a parenthesis here.
I can't read my own parameter for the y minus 2.
It's gonna be here. It's gonna give you a point of negative 2, right? And positive 2 because it's always the opposite. So negative 2, positive 2 is gonna be somewhere around here. Is that okay? Now the 3 over 4 is a slope. M equal to 3 over 4, right? So remember this is up 3, right 4. But the problem of this is if I go up 3, right 4, I'm going this side. But I don't want to go over this side because I only graph strictly less than negative 2. If I graph that side, it becomes greater than 2. Does that make sense? So you cannot graph that side. You had to graph to the end. So you say, okay, well, what's the other slope besides 3 over 4? It could be negative 3, negative 4, right? So that's going to be down 3, left 4. So down 3, left 4. So you see here, down 3, left 4. This can be both negative because both negative is positive. So basically just extend this line. And this is a blue line. So we should have blue circle here. Going this way. Does that make sense? I just grabbed like algebra 1, all the things in algebra 1 I know how to graph. But I also graph the restriction though. Let me ask you. Now this is f of x. What does that mean? F of x means that's a function notation. Well, what can I ask for other questions? I can also ask you, what is f of 4? What's f of 4 mean? That means input is 4. What will be the output? Do you guys know what's the output here if x is equal to 4? What? I don't know. You gotta tell me which one. When x is equal to 4, what is the y value? There's two ways to do it. One is easier way, but you gotta make sure your graph is right. Can somebody tell me what f of 4 is besides Lyndon? Lyndon's the first one to raise a hand. I assume that he does. And also, I never know how to pronounce your name. What's your name? Ksenia. Ksenia probably know as well. How about Ashley? What do you think f of 4 is? You don't know? Okay, how about Emma? You got -2. I don't think that's right. Good try though.
What was the question again?
F of 4.
So that's like
When x is equal to 4, what's the y value? Diego might got this. I'll let Diego do it. Diego, you got it? Ashante got it? Okay.
Is it -4?
-4 is correct, but how do you get -4?
Because like look at the line that we graphed. When x is 4, y is -4.
Ah, there we go. So think about it, right? First of all, there's two reasons why it's -4. First reason, look at the graph. But that's assuming your graph is 100% right. That's a problem. Because sometimes your graphs might not be right. So we can double check. We can always go back and double check. So 4, that means this is a 4. But what will be the only y values available? Well, the only y value is this point, right? And this y value is going to be -4. Because it's below here, this is -4. Now, let's just say I don't know. Which equation I need to plug in? If I need to plug in the equation, which equation I should plug in? Anna? The first one, why? Right. X is greater than 2. 4 is greater than 2, then you must plug in the first one. So that's going to be y is equal to, I'm going to try that. Y equal to -3/2 times 4 plus 2. This is 2. This is -6 plus 2, which is -4, which is perfect. I got -4 regardless. Does that make sense? Now, what happened is f of 1. Camille? It's Camila, right? Or the Ukrainian girl?
Emily.
Emily, okay. Sorry, got a wrong name.
So if
F of 1.
f of 1, I think it's -4 too.
You think it's -4? Why do you think it's -4?
Because if you look at the graph, everything that all of the available answers, if you look at x it's -4.
Perfect. Does everybody understand that's -4? Now, there's nothing I can plug in. I can plug in -4 into this equation, but there's no input I can put in. They already told you the output is always -4. It doesn't matter what the input is. It's not based on the input. So there was no input that you can put in this particular function, so the output's still going to be -4. Yes.
Can you explain why it's -4 again?
Because she says when x equal to 1, so 1 is right here, right? What will be the only part of the graph? Well, the only y value has a graph is going to be -4 here. It's going to be -1, -2, -3, -4, -4 here. Or you can plug in a function into here, but when you plug in this function, there's no x value you can plug in. So it only has output. It doesn't have any input. So the output is -4 regardless what happened, long as you between -2 to +2. Okay. What about f of -6? I'm gonna ask f of -6. I'm gonna ask Ilias. What do you think f of -6 is? Okay, that's fine. Anybody else have different answer? Finney. Is 6 possibly? Anybody else have different answer?
Is it -6?
Nope. Mia?
-1?
-1's correct. Very good job. Why is -1? Think about it. At here, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. The only output of that graph, the only variable is this part, which is -1. Does that make sense? Now let's assume that you want to plug in the equation. I'm going to get y minus 2 equal to 3 over 2, and we're going to plug in -6 plus 2. Does that make sense? So it'll be y minus 2 equal to 3 over 2 times -6. So that is going to give you -9 plus 3. And that's going to give you -6. Wait, did I do something wrong? Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let's not do that. -6, so it'll be y minus 2 equal to 3 over 2 times -4. And that's equal to wait, did I do something wrong? Hold on, -6, -6. Hold on, let me check. This one is gonna give you negative negative. Oh, 3 over 4, that's why. Thank you. I was like, why it doesn't add up? Thank you so much. So this one's gonna give you a -3. And then you add 2 on both sides, so it's gonna be -1. So it's -1. So basically I still plug in this x and just write it wrong. Sorry. This one's 4. This one's 4. That's why it's like number's not correct. So just plug in the x and evaluate the y. We good? Now let's go again. So I'm gonna give you a function. I'm actually so I'm gonna give you a different color so for you to graph. Now I will say this though, most of the graph I give it to you is gonna be past horizontal line test. So that means you never have two outputs. If I give you two output, that means something is wrong. So you gotta make sure that it's like this. So first thing is I'm gonna give you a f of x. Sorry, this is f of x. That says equal to, right? That's equal to a much bigger function. So I'm gonna start with the red function. It's gonna be y is equal to 2 when x is greater than 5. No, x is greater than 5. Is that okay? The blue function is gonna be two x minus 5y or plus 5y, actually minus 5y, is equal to 10 when x is between 5 and 0. And y is equal to 1/2 x minus 3. Oh, I should use different color. Sorry. Let me use a different color here. Let me use a green. And this one is x is greater than, no, x is less than 0 and -2. And the last one is gonna be purple. Y minus 3 is equal to, or y plus 3 is equal to 3 over 2 times x plus 2 when x less than -2. Not only that, I want you to graph this. I want you to evaluate f of 6, f of f of 0 and f of -1 and f of -4. So I want you to evaluate those, but make sure the function you graph has to be correct. Now, your function is always going to be past horizontal line test or vertical line test. So if you have any time you graph two things, you're going to have two things. Yeah. So this is like algebra 1 on steroid. Somebody get a door. Mia, can you get a door? Make sure your thing must pass horizontal line test. I mean vertical line test. I'm so sorry. Everybody done? Yes? If you're done, I need you to learn how to check your answer to decimals because you know how to control the decimals. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take a picture of this. I'm gonna graph on decimals. And you're also gonna type in the way I type in, so that way you know how to use decimals in terms of this. Because tomorrow you're gonna have tomorrow you're gonna have activity. You're gonna have to use decimals to figure out all the stuff. So for example, right here, I'm gonna do a type in a function. I'm just gonna type in y equal to 2. Okay, and I'm gonna click on this, and you guys should get your computer out and try to type in the way it is, so that way you can see what's going on. You can use your cell phone if you want, I don't really care, but you have to have a decimals app. So now in order to do restriction, you have to do this brace thing. And you have to do brace as x greater than 5. So you should see the graph look like this. So use the brace to write restrictions, and that way you know how to use that in the future. Am I going too fast? No? Okay, I'm gonna do the second one. So it'll be 2x minus 5y is equal to 10. Now you can check also if your graph is correct. So you got 0 less equal to x less than 5. And that's gonna be a brace.
What's that all equals?
Less equal to. Do you see that, the black line? No, actually, I'm going to follow the color I have. So I start with the red line. And I start with the blue line. So far, it looks okay.
Is it less than or equal to something?
It's less equal to. When I think I changed it at the end, so it's less equal to. But that's okay. That's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. So learn how to type in properly. So y equal to 1 over 2 x minus 3. And it's going to be restriction is going to be -2 less than x less than 0. So it looks like this. Last one, wait, what color is that? That's green, right? Last one is going to be y plus 3 equal to. You got to learn how to check your answer because I don't give you answer, so that doesn't mean you cannot check. But you should try to graph without decimals. I don't want you to cheat. Because on a test, if you cheat on a test, if you cheat on the homework, then you're gonna cheat on the, you're not able to cheat on a test. And oh, this is a positive, sorry. So it looks like this. And this one is purple, I think. So the graph's something like this. And let's check if this graph versus our graph. Does that look the same? And also evaluations right here. Did you get an evaluation? F of 6 is equal to 2. F of 0 is -2. F of -1 is -7 over 2. F of -4 is equal to -6. So piecewise function today. Yeah.
Can you go back to decimal?
Yeah, of course. It doesn't have an open circle in decimals because decimal is not able to show you open circle or closed circle. But you can actually see that the value here can equal to that, but the other side it cannot equal to that. Yeah, the other side it doesn't. Actually, it does. What does that mean? Yeah. So Desmo doesn't able to show you open circle, closed circle. You know how to use a brace now, right? Tomorrow you're gonna have activity, you have to use brace. Tomorrow's activity is kind of fun. You're gonna have to use piecewise function. I'm gonna say my most favorite question to use is always the last one, the purple one. Is a point slope form, because you can decide any point you want to start out with. You can decide any point you want to start out with, and you can draw that line. It's much better than y equal to mx plus b. It's much better than standard form. Point slope form is always better than any other form. So tomorrow's activity, I will prefer you use point slope form. Is this okay? How many of you guys graphed completely right? Only 1, 2, 3, maybe? Sydney, what do you mess up?
The blue line.
The blue line. So what's wrong with that one? You don't.
I had like the right point. I just did like I started from -2, not 0.
Yeah, you start at -2. You start here at -2.
No, I meant for like the y value. I started at -2 on the x.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so gotta be careful. You always start. That's why I say 0, 2. 0, -2. That's a y-intercept. Any questions? Anybody else did wrong and where? Can you tell me where you did wrong? Today's homework, I'm also gonna give you a graph and ask you the equation. So that way you can know how to react the knowledge backwards. So if I give you a graph, can you tell me the equation of this one? Now you can give me any form you would like. Long as you can plug in decimals, come back to match it up. You can give me point slope form, but it's best is use the point slope form, because point slope form can get you all the equations. Any questions? Yes.
With the blue line, why isn't it an open circle if x is in between?
You are absolutely right. This one is open circle. Thank you for letting me know. Sometimes I do make mistake. So this is open circle. The other one's a closed circle, but yeah, this one's open circle. And there we go. That's gonna be homework. So if I give you an equation, can you tell me? If I give you a graph, can you tell me the equation? So can you give me a piecewise function that that equation just like this one? And you can type in the thing and to see if it's true. Right? You have to learn how to deal with restriction backwards. So can you figure out what would be this piecewise function is? I'll use point slope form. Unless the blue line is very easy to tell what's y-intercept. Because red line, you don't know what the y-intercept is. And same as the black line, you don't know what the y-intercept is. I'll use point slope form. I'll give you 2 more minutes. You can type it in also to match, see if the graph is the same thing, right? So today's your job, you had to be able to react to your knowledge and going backwards.
Blue one is the dog though, yeah.
This is this a fill in. But this one you're not able to tell on Desmos. So I'm gonna start with a blue. I'm gonna start with a red line. I like this point. This point is where 5 comma 1, right? So that should be y minus 1 is equal to, this one's -3/2 times x minus 5. And this one should be x is greater than 5. Did everybody got that? Because point slope form is the best. The problem with this line, if you track it backwards, it's really hard to tell where the y-intercept is. But you still can if you really want to, but it's kind of hard for me. Because you have to track all the way back. For the green one, I'm going to say y is equal to 2 between 2 and 5. Is that okay? For the blue one, y equal to mx plus b. This one's easy. 1/2 x plus 2. When x between 2 and -2. For the black one, it's gonna give you, that just says y. I'm gonna use this point, which is 2 comma 2, -2 comma 2. So it'll be y minus 2 equal to x plus 2. And the slope, it seems like, is -2/3 when x is less than -2. And there you go. I figured out the equation. If I graph this, it's going to come out matching. So today you have to check your answer. Yes.
What is the pink one?
Y minus 1 equal to -3/2 x minus 5, because I use point slope form. Because I can decide that particular point. I don't need to track it back to the y-intercept. So much work if you track it back to y-intercept. You could have used the point slope form in that particular format. You guys good? This is going to be one big question on the test. And you have to figure out how to graph. And this is going to happen, continues to happen. Turn off stream. Remind me, turn off stream. Thank you.